Hi, chemistry students. It's Ms. Foraker here, and I'm here talking to you today about the activity that you're going to need to do on Monday. And if you're in my class, I will be absent on Monday. Well, actually, even if you're not in my class, I'll be absent on Monday. But I wanted to give you a little extra instruction about this activity since I won't be here to assist you in doing it. So the first thing that you're going to do on Monday is you're going to take a open note concept check. That open note concept check is over what we've learned in section 16.1 and 16.2. You're allowed to use your notes and your calculator and your periodic table. You are not allowed to use your phone or your Chromebook. So come prepared with everything that you need for that open note quiz on Monday. I will give that to the sub, and that is what you're going to do first. The second thing that you're going to do after you finish that open note concept check, which we're going to allow 30 minutes to complete. After you have turned that in, the next thing that you're going to do is called interpreting graphics or interpreting graphs, where you're going to answer questions based on solubility data that's in a table. And it's similar to the graph that we showed you in lecture. And I remember I talked in class about how we could write all different sorts of questions about that graph. So instead of you looking at the graph and interpreting it, you're going to look at a data table and make a graph, excuse me. You'll be given a handout that has the questions and directions in it, but most of your answers will be, collected in a Google form. You can use that handout and you can write on it as much as you want, but ultimately you won't be turning that in. You'll be turning in the Google form. So let's just open up those two. I'm going to share my screen with you, and we'll open up those two different pieces of data, I guess, and let you look at what it is that I'm talking about. Okay, so what you'll do after you finish your concept check is you will go into Google Classroom, and there will be an interpreting graphics Google form for you. And you just open that up, and it should look like this. And then you will also, actually yours will look like this. Okay, and then you will also have a handout, and also this will be posted in Google Classroom too, but you'll have a handout that looks like this. Okay, and using those two things together, you are going to answer the questions on the Google form. So the first thing that you'll see on this handout is just a list of data for a whole bunch of different chemicals, and what their formulas are, and what is their solubility for every 100 grams of water. Excuse me. So that's important, meaning that this would double if instead you had 200 grams of water. These solubility numbers would double. It's how many grams of these chemicals will dissolve in 100 grams of water. That's what that data table is telling you. And that's what this is saying, underlined and bolded to try to draw your attention to that. Then in the Google form classroom form that's in Classroom, which is right here. You will answer the questions. Okay, so you'll fill out this form, and then you will answer the questions that are asked, and those questions are also included on the handout. So for example, it says saturated solutions for the following compounds at 20 degrees Celsius. Check the letters that would form a precipitate if you heated them. So to figure that out, you would just look at this chart, and it says that you're looking at 20 degrees, and any of these that this solubility number goes down when you go from 20 and increase the temperature. If the number goes down, then that would be a chemical that would form a precipitate upon heating, that it would recrystallize or come out of solution upon heating. And then you'll just answer these questions. Be very careful with this one right here, because notice it says that it's saturated in 1,000 grams of boiling water. Our table is based on 100 grams of water, so you'll have to deal with your numbers because of that 1,000 grams. So you'll continue on until you get to this question, which is the graph right here. And this graph has you add a file. So if you go back to the handout, these are the same questions that were on the Google form, number 1 and number 2 and number 3. Number 4 is the graph. Now, these instructions are very clear as to how to make a graph using Google Sheets, but I fear that many of you have never done that before. So you'll just go into your Drive and say, make a new Google Sheet. So in Drive, there's the opportunity to make something new. You just go to Drive. Here, I'll do that for you. In your Drive, it says New, and if you click on New, this is running very slowly today. I'm really hoping that my video is not all buffery and weird. So you have to wait until when it pops up and it says new. There it is, new Google Sheet. So you click on that, and then that should give you just a brand new Google Sheet that doesn't have a title. It just says untitled spreadsheet. Okay, and this is your background that you're going to work from. And then you just follow the directions. So it says in the directions, it says that open a new Google Sheet. I just showed you how to do that. Then it says enter temperature, or parenthesis, degrees Celsius in cell A1. So you'll go to your new sheet and you'll just type in temperature. And then degrees Celsius, like that. Now you can make this cell bigger because the temperature degrees Celsius is going to go over into B, or you can do a trick called text wrapping up here where you do that and it automatically keeps it in A. It just makes that twice as big. That's my preference, but you can do it however that you want. And then follow these directions. Then it says type KCl in B1 and LIBR in C1. So you'll go here and type in KCl and LIBR. And this is B1. It's like playing Battleship. So it's column B and row 1. And just follow the directions and type as it is. And then it says enter the temperatures from the table, enter the solubilities from the table. Now, you're not doing every chemical. You're only doing KCl, LIBR, and AgNO3. And then follow these directions as they're written. It tells you exactly where to find everything. When you are all the way done, you should end up with a solubility curve that looks something like this one. You'll actually have more labels than I have. You'll have this axis will be more clearly labeled, and so will this one. And and your data will go all the way down these columns. But this is what your chart should end up looking like when you're all the way done. Then go up here to this corner, and yours will probably say untitled spreadsheet. So then you want to title it and save it to your drive. It should automatically save it to your drive. So title it whatever you want, as long as it's, you know, appropriate. You can give it a title just so that you remember what it is, because then after you've answered your questions, you will, when you're on number 4 and you've got your beautiful graph done, you're going to add that as a file. So you click on this add file, and it will search your drive. You can either do most recent or search by the name, and you will add that file right there, and put it into your Google form. And then you'll continue answering these questions, and then submit it. Now, this is set up to allow you to submit it more than once. So if you do this and you end up getting a poor score, it will grade it. And if you don't like what you got, then you're welcome to improve your score. But I just wanted to take a minute to go over how to make those graphs, because I don't believe you've ever done that before. Then that's it. So you will have taken a 30-minute long concept check. And then all I need for this interpreting graphics activity is that you turn this Google form in. You guys are allowed to help each other. You know, if somebody gets confused, you're allowed to talk to each other and try to get it all straightened out. But I will be back on Wednesday. And I hope that you guys are good for the sub, and you don't give anybody any trouble. And how to stop presenting. There it is. We'll get back at it when I return. So take care, guys, and I hope that you're doing well.